All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am your host, DJ Kate out the party, because I am the life of the party, and I'm also nasty on those ones and twos because I make it do what it do. Um, and I also would like to introduce my co-host, Road Dog Media in the building.
What's
Uh,
going on, everyone?
uh, Go and say what's up to him, Road Dog.
What's going on? Oh, you guys are gonna need to get excited for this one.
I need everybody to be excited for this one because I'm gonna tell you right now, the guest that I have right here, you don't get too many superheroes. Okay, let me first state that real quick, especially in an investigative journalist, but just superheroes because she does it because she cares about her community, she cares about the culture, she cares about the truth and transparency, and this is what this channel is about: truth and transparency. And so I got a special treat for you guys. She was also on the Breakfast Club too as well. She is known as the crime fighting investigative journalist, and her name is Miss Cerise Castle. Welcome to the show, ma'am. I appreciate you being here, and let's get started, y'all.
Thanks so much for having me. Hi.
I appreciate you being here, man. I really, really, really do. And like I said, we don't get too many superheroes, and I'm just glad to be actually talking to one right now. So, thank you for being on the show today. So,
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
okay. So we're gonna get we if you don't mind, we gonna dig a little bit in your past and maybe get a little background on you so people know. So we're telling the story and we kind of building you up and just getting a humanization of the superhero that we're talking to today right now. So if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so where are you originally from? Where'd you grow up? Which story on that?
I am born and raised in Los Angeles, California.
Okay. Okay. Like, uh, like, like what particular street and stuff? Like, is it like in the
I moved
slice?
around a lot. I grew up in and out of the foster system, so I've lived in a lot of different neighborhoods, mostly beach cities, Long Beach, Santa Monica, Westchester. I went to high school in Orange County, which is a completely different area, completely different county,
Right.
but that's where I grew up. And then I went to college in Boston, Massachusetts,
Okay.
and I was
Perfect.
there
Perfect.
for 3 years before I moved back to LA.
Cool. Cool. What was your upbringing? Like, what was
Um,
or how was your
Not
upbringing?
the best, um, but it laid the foundation for a lot of things that I am interested in today and a lot of the work that I do today, which I am grateful for. And I think it really made me someone who is passionate about accountability, about truth telling, and I've been able to do a lot of great work with that. Uh, so, it sort of is what it is, and I'm grateful for that.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. And I, like I said, I had seen your story on multiple platforms, but what really got my your attention was this your story on when you went more in depth and detail on the Breakfast Club, where you were recently at, not too long ago, I believe. And I was just like, oh, my eyes were just wide open because I was just like, I and I'm just like, oh my goodness, only 30 minutes. I need more information because I was dibbing and dabbling in this particular story as far as the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. So, what, uh, what? Well, how long have you been a journalist? Exactly.
I started doing journalism when I was in high school.
Okay.
I was inspired to start doing journalism after a field trip to the Today Show in New York, where I got the chance to meet Ann Curry, who was a longtime host of the Today Show. She's hosted a number of other programs. She's a great journalist in her own right. And it was a conversation with her that inspired me to become a journalist. And that was in the eighth grade. So I came home from that trip and joined the school newspaper. And I've been doing journalism ever since.
Okay. Okay. In journalism, uh, I guess it's pretty known as I guess a male dominated particular industry. I guess. Um, how were you able to navigate around those particular obstacles that um, some women may face in the journalistic industry?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've definitely experienced a lot of sexism working um, over the past like 12 or so years. Um, and honestly, like the best thing that I've been able to do to deal with that is call it out whenever I see it. That's something that I feel like we're sort of told not to do and uh, like trained against. But truly, I've had more opportunities afforded to me speaking out about that kind of thing, being honest about when it is happening, um, and the effect that it's having on people, and leaving, of course, not being afraid to leave when it's time to.
Okay. Did you like so was there any like major news organizations that you actually did work for? Um
Yeah,
yeah.
I have worked for, uh, I've written for the Los Angeles Times, Los Angeles Magazine. I used to be a correspondent on a television show on HBO called Vice News Tonight. I've been a radio correspondent for NPR. So I have a pretty diverse background in a lot of places.
Okay. So out of all those particular places, which was your favorite one to work at that you were able to flourish and kind of be yourself?
Um, Honestly, I once I left corporate media and started just freelancing and doing my own thing, there's a lot of bullshit that you have to put up with when you're
A lot of
working in those kinds
politics.
of newsrooms. It's sexist, it's racist, it's homophobic, and I don't like it. And the structure is set up under, capitalism that doesn't prioritize mental health. It doesn't prioritize like us feeling good. It doesn't prioritize anything that is healthy.
Okay.
And walking away from that and learning to survive, like carve out a way to survive that is respectful of all of those things is the best thing that I've ever done.
Okay. Okay. So it wasn't there wasn't one that was particular. They were kind of all the same, right? As far as um, office or corporate politics and all those type of things. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean corporate politics and then just like, systemic stuff that is like inherent to that kind of thing.
Okay. Wow. Uh, Before we get started into some more questions, Road Dog, you want to give a quick announcement on the for the audience, real quick?
Yeah, what it is we are going to try to answer everybody's questions. If you have a really important question you feel that needs to be answered right away, you can super chat those. Those will be spoken about immediately. The other ones we are going to try to highlight them and get them answered for you, but we will have like a question answering toward the end where you can throw them out at that point as well.
All right, and thank you for that, Road Dog. Also, I want to be very clear, Miss Cerise, Castle. She is the investigative journalist who exposed Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, and not only that, but the multiple, I believe, 20 gangs. At least
I
20,
have there's proof of 19 at this
19.
point. I've heard anecdotally of about 24.
Okay, a lot of gangs in the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. So she's going to break that down. So again, that's why I wanted to have her on the show so we can give her more of a platform because people need to know about this. Because obviously I'm in a town where we have really corrupt police, Aurora, Colorado, where unfortunately they're under a consent decree currently right now with the state attorney or the attorney general of
Right.
Colorado. So
Mhm.
speaking of that, so let's get started. The LA Sheriff Department. Is there a reason why that they're not under the consent decree, or is this?
Great question.
I know that's kind of. I know that's kind of.
Great place to start. I don't really have an answer for that. These are the questions that like keep me up at night.
Okay.
There are orders like that on a limited basis. In the Antelope Valley, they are currently under a federal order that they have to comply with. Uh, I've heard from deputies that have friends that have recently left those stations and have friends that are still there that it's not working. And we've never had something on a department-wide basis. No, well, actually, I keep forgetting to say this, but
Okay.
this investigation was actually just announced a year to the day after my reporting was published
Okay.
um, by the Civilian Oversight Commission, a civilian-led investigation into these deputy gangs, and that announcement cited my reporting specifically
Okay.
um, as sort of a catalyst to this that prompted this investigation. So for the first time, an investigation is happening, but we have not had anything. That investigation is at the local level. We haven't had anything at the federal level looking at the entire department. No.
So as far as the DOJ, it's not on their, not even remotely on their hit list as far as to
We've
look
had
at.
several state senators, or not state senators, sorry, we've had a few Congress members from California write letters requesting a federal investigation to the Department of Justice, but we have not heard back.
Okay. What about Congresswoman Lord Jesus? Then she's the goat.
Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters, yes. Is she?
Yeah, she sent 2 letters requesting a federal investigation into this.
When was the last letter that she actually had sent? Was
I
that
believe it was in fall of 2021.
okay? Okay. Have you guys had? Have you? Were you able to interview her or have private conversations with her uh, regarding the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department?
I've been in touch with the office. Yes.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Because I just like I know we have Congress and state representatives and all those type of things, and um, is it really for the people who are in LA? Does it work? I mean, does it if people complain to their representatives about the situation, um, does it really work, or does it look? Do you feel that it gets looked over?
Well, I think that, anytime you hold someone accountable, that's that's a success. I think that definitely on constituents to be civically engaged and hold these electeds accountable. We're the ones that, put them into power, and they're supposed to be representing our self-interests. So, it's really on us to tell them, like, hey, this is a priority for us and this is what we want to see happen. And if it doesn't, we'll, hold you accountable come November, June, election day.
Okay. Okay. Um. Road Dog, do you have any questions? I know I'm kind of sputing out.
Oh no, you're doing fine. I I've got a couple officers I'd like you to look into that I'm not sure if you have looked into. One of them in particular used to harass me as a kid. As we were talking, I grew up out in Los Angeles. Out of the Norwalk station, there was an Officer Grant. Are you familiar with him?
I'm checking our database, and I do not see a Grant.
No, Durant.
Durant. Oh my bad.
Right. Yeah, he actually got transferred up to Atlanta. But
No,
there was talk about him. He was actually, that's how I got aware of the gangs within the sheriff's department, because I heard he was part of them. That's actually what brought it to my attention.
Wow. And what gang was he a part of?
He was supposedly part of the executioners.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So that would be somebody you might look into. He actually got transferred up because of me. He got transferred to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard he got shot in the line of duty, but I'm not 100% sure of that.
Wow. Well, what happened with you that he got transferred?
Just harassment, real bad. What it was there was a church that was near me that got broke into. I was living in Whittier, and they covered part of Whittier. And he started in with, well, I know you know who it is, this, that, and the other, which I did. I'm not gonna snitch on anybody. I'm not talking to you. Anyways, he just continued on and on and on. Then he started like just stopping me walking down the road to search me, all kinds of stuff. And we just put in complaint after complaint after complaint, wound up taking him to court, and he had a choice of either being transferred up there or getting fired. So he transferred up there.
Yeah, that's a great example of how, like using the system in the way that it's set up to hold them accountable. I mean, and that's and also an example of how the system is set up to protect these people, is why, while, you were able to take him to court and get him out of the neighborhood, he still had the option to go to another community and continue that same terrorism. Yeah. So, and another example of why we should
as
continue
you know,
to engage with the system.
Atlanta was the drug capital of the United States for a while for meth. And I'm thinking that's why they sent him up there.
Wow.
We also have a question from Wolf Den's News. So what are the functions of these gangs? So when the process, so if it was a rookie cop, let's just say he's most likely okay, well, before we even answer that, what is to get in the gang as a sheriff's deputy? Is there an ethnic background that you have to meet, or how was that process set up?
So that's a really interesting question. So most of these, well, all of these gangs, to my knowledge, they are set up on principles of white supremacy, just straight up. And you get officers from diverse backgrounds, deviating from Caucasian, that are buying into this, going along with it, because it's also building on this idea that when you become a police officer, that identity supersedes any other identity that you have. So you may be Black, but you're always a cop first. You're always going to be a cop, then a Black person. If you're Japanese, you're always going to be a cop first before you're a Japanese person, um, and so on and so forth. And what was the second part of that question?
Hold on. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. He's transferring over to his phone real quick. Yeah, no, that does, because I think that's important, because the reason why these particular gangs are set up is because of white supremacy. And what are the I'm sorry. Let me go back up to his question. So, what are the functions of these gangs, or how do they function?
Yeah, the function is really just terrorization of the community. I mean, that's really the long and short of it. Um, they make it sport to brutalize people and kill them. And that's really it.
Is it kind of like a situation to where a lot of uh, these officers probably were bullied in school, or were bullying schools, and now they have some type of hints of some type of power of authority, and this is the greatest way to display it? Or I mean, or do you think they went in there innocently and now they're just, well, I have no choice but to be, if I want to be uh, a Los Angeles Sheriff Department, I have to be a part of these gangs.
I think it's a little of both.
Okay.
I've heard both from people that have experience with the department.
Okay. Um, Also, what about are women in these gangs?
No, women are explicitly not allowed to become full members, but there are women that are associates of these gangs.
So what would their role be in the women would, if
Honestly, women are used by a lot of these gangs as objects of sexual gratification. Um,
whoa,
and that's really it. There are benefits that come with that, which is protection of the gang.
okay,
And a lot of women have sued the department saying that they were forced into these situations where they were pressured to provide sexual favors for men that are rank above them, outrank them. Um, and often those men are gang members or associates themselves.
are these gangs also in the prison systems and the
100%,
or the
yes.
jail? I'm sorry, the jail
That's
systems. I'm sorry,
yeah.
county jails.
Definitely. The way that the sheriff's department is set up is that once a deputy finishes training at the academy, they then go into the jails, and that's where there are at least four gangs functioning in the jails,
Mhm.
and that's where they really learn this brutal, heavy, like deadly style of policing at the hands of seasoned gang members. The jail is also a place where people will go to once they get up in rank to just sort of sit back and collect a large paycheck. And
Mhm.
people that are promoted like that are often gang members or associates. So that culture is really solidified in the jails, and it's the jails, the county jails are really the perfect breeding ground for deputy gangs.
Okay. Um, what initiated the spark within your journalism that this kind of laid on your lap? Was it life experience before you were a journalist, or or did you find this out when you were a journalist, and how did that come to be?
Yeah, this is a question that I've had my whole life. I've known about these deputy gangs for, yeah, as long as I can remember, really. And I've always wanted to know more about them. I've always had a lot of the questions that you've been asking me, but there was never anywhere to have them answered. Um, so in 2020, I was shot by a police officer while covering the protests that were happening in response to the murder of George Floyd.
Okay.
And that injury put me on bed rest. And I wasn't supposed to be working or anything for about 6 months. I had also just completed a investigative journalism course that was offered for free by the Ida B. Wells Society, and I had learned a lot newer skills that would better equip me to do an investigation like this.
Okay.
So I just found myself sitting around for 6 months, and I figured, okay, well, let me, use the tools that I just learned to answer the question that I've had my entire life.
Okay. Okay. So tell us a little bit more about that, as far as what happened to you, um, that whole experience, as far as the protests I know that you were at and trying to get information from, as far as the George Floyd protest, and were you shot by like a rubber bullet, or was it what?
Mhm.
How did
Yes.
yeah? How was go? Can you go a little bit more in depth with that a little bit?
Yeah, I was there, um, covering well, I went out that day to cover a protest,
Okay.
um, and I was working for an NPR radio station at the time. So basically every, 15, 30 minutes, I would call into the station and give an update on the ground of what was happening.
Okay.
And it was a really, like, chill day. People were just I think we marched, like, a grand total of, like, a half mile, um, and, the protests, like, came to a stop at an intersection, and people were just sort of hanging out. I ran into a couple of friends that were working for another news crew, and we were sort of standing around just, catching up, and they left, and I was just standing around taking photos, and these 2 trucks with LAPD and riot gear pulled into the intersection all of a sudden and just got off and started shooting at people indiscriminately. I had a bunch of equipment with me, my press badge, so I was, like, very clearly media, and I was, like, waving at them saying, "Hey, I'm press, I'm press." And I have, like, photos of, um, a police officer, like, turning, looking at me, and, like, shooting. So I was hit in the arm, and I was, like, trying to run away, and I fell really badly and hurt my ankle, and that was the injury that put me on bed rest.
So you were shot in the ankle,
In the arm, and I, like,
in the arm,
fell.
and then you fell and hurt your ankle.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I mean, um, are you currently in a lawsuit with them, or
No.
is there any reason why, or is this
Well, I mean, yeah, it goes back to one of your earlier questions about, sexism, in media. The radio station that I was working for at KCRW, I had a lot of issues with them. It's been covered by, the Los Angeles Times, Attention, um, LA Podcast. I've spoken publicly about the racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia that was
yeah?
going on there. I was also part of a unionization process at the station, and shortly after I was shot, we were able to get our union ratified and recognized, and a contract recognized, which raised pay on average 18% for all employees. Just 2 weeks after we got that union contract passed, the station offered everybody a buyout, which means they would pay the rest of your salary for the rest of the year, which was about 3.5 months. And then you would be effectively terminated immediately, with that lump sum, as a tactic to avoid paying people what we have fought so hard for over a year, with our union. And shortly after offering that buyout, they also communicated that people who were redundant would be dismissed if they did not take the buyout, and they would not be receiving that lump sum of the buyout. They would just be terminated. And it was also communicated to me that I had become redundant. So I took the buyout and I left. And the radio station had submitted a complaint to LAPD on my behalf. We had discussed potential legal action. When I left, they told the attorney that they had hired on the station's behalf, about the incident, because, while it did happen to me, this does not just affect me, it affects all of their reporters,
I
right?
agree.
And reporters across Los Angeles and across the United States. But when I left, they communicated to her that they no longer wished to pursue the complaint. All of that action was halted. I did not find out about it until about 6 months later. And that's that.
That's absolutely disgusting because it's that. So the news organization that you work for didn't even protect you.
Correct.
That that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Now I know. I'm assuming that you had to go through physical therapy
Yes.
during your healing process. How long did that? How was that, and what was that like?
I mean, physical therapy is shitty. I think everyone can agree with that.
Okay.
The healing process was long, uh, annoying. It's not fun to not be able to leave the house. I mean, we all kind of like went through that in lockdown. But I mean, you were still able to like go for a walk, um, and that kind of thing. But I like lost that, like hiking for me is like really, that's like my thing. Like losing that was really hard for like
Okay.
the 6 months that I was not able to do that. But I've mostly recovered. I'm like 95% back to where I was, which is good. Um, so, you know, make the best of it.
And I'm sorry that happened to you, by the way. I really am sorry.
Thank
Um,
you.
seriously, from a human to human standpoint, and I think that's horrible that happened to you. Um, I can kind of understand what you're talking about. I got hit. I wasn't in LA during the George Floyd riots, but I was in Las Vegas, and it was like a war zone out there. Everything was closed and everything was shut down, and I got hit in the shin with the one of those lemon pepper bullet thingies.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that sucked. But I didn't have to get rehab or anything like that. Nothing like you. Now, as far as the rubber bullets, are they still administering those even after the test, or are they have they
uh,
applied them for you
it's kind
yet?
of
Or
funny. So this is like another like version of like how we do things in LA. Like you asked earlier about consent decree. So following the protests, there were several lawsuits that were filed,
okay,
against the county, the city, about the use of those, so-called less lethal munitions. And they won an order that banned the use of them unless law enforcement deems it necessary. So, yeah. Yes and no.
Yes and no. It just well, they can use them if they tripping. In other words, I guess, right? I guess that's kind of how they have the have it to where in Denver, Colorado, because I don't know if you were aware, but they did come to a settlement of $14 million, Denver, Colorado, during the George Floyd protest. Uh, so I don't know if are they working on a lawsuit for protests who were injured in that particular?
Yes, yes, there are
Okay,
several ongoing lawsuits.
okay. Is it a collective one lawsuit, or is it just everybody
Oh,
doing?
there are, I believe there are a couple of class action lawsuits going on.
Okay. Okay. And so are you so so for you taking the payout, you can't be a part of those class action lawsuits at all?
The buyout was separate from the lawsuit. The buyout was offered by my employer as a result of us gaining a union.
Okay. And that's the crazy. The union is supposed to be freaking protecting you guys.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was why they did it. It was to ensure that it's like a loophole in unionization. It
I
was
guess
to
you
ensure that the union could not protect anyone.
that is crazy. That is so well, first of all, I know why because I've done my research, but and you are definitely a superhero. But why does the society label you as the crime fighting journalist? Or
Why does society what? Sorry.
why has society labeled you the crime fighting journalist?
Oh, I think because that's
If
what
that's what you
Erica Alexander called me,
okay.
publicly. It's caught on. Once Erica says something, I guess it's law.
Right, right. Now I know obviously you had physical therapy, but what about mental therapy? Have you um I mean this is traumatic.
Oh,
What's
yeah, I see a therapist regularly. I'm also in group therapy. Yeah, mental health is super important, and I yeah, I recommend it to everybody. Like, you don't need to be, reporting on police gangs and doing this kinda thing to, tap in with mental health. We live in a crazy time right now. I mean, we're living through a pandemic, there's a war going on, we have gangs in the police department committing extrajudicial murders, like, we there's a global, crisis when it comes to the health and outlook of the planet. It's yeah, I think everyone should be checking in with their mental health. It's a apocalyptic time, and that is not a hyperbole.
okay? And East Los audits in the building. How you
Oh,
doing?
hey, East Los.
You got a shout out
What
there.
up, what up?
I need some water. Quick question. Well, actually, I got some other questions for you from a good friend of mine who's actually supposed to be kind of bummed because he wanted to interview you as well. He was supposed to be my other co-host, but that's all right. That's all right. He has stuff to do.
Oh, okay.
Family emergency. So, but he did leave me a question for the ask you Mexican long hair asked you. He said I wanted to ask uh what if she believes if civil war in this country could be framed as anti-police faction of citizens versus pro-police faction of citizens and what they might look like in the streets.
I'm a pacifist, man. That's my response to that. I am definitely like anti any sort of like armed conflict, personally. I am like big on restorative justice. I'm big on accountability, in a if we're talking about punishment. I'm very anti-carceration. I think like we should really be dealing with these sorts of issues from a community standpoint, and a decarceral standpoint, and a restorative justice framework. Um, yeah, that's my answer to that.
Okay, great. And he also has another question. Also, what does she think as far as the police would do in a civil war like action in the USA?
I think it would be disastrous if if that sort of thing happened. I mean, and we sort of like we see like these kinds of things happening. I mean, like with I think January 6th is a really good example of like what would happen.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of
where you sort of had the police like ignoring a threat and then like
inviting him in.
inviting them in, some getting killed by those same people they may have viewed as allies. Like I think it would be really messed up, and I think people that would be sort of on the other end of that, like we again saw previews of that in 2020 where people were getting the shit beaten out of them for saying human rights are cool. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Well, be
yeah.
well, being a African American woman, I had a lot of conversations during the January 6th situation. A lot of black colleagues and constituents, and we would have and other activists, and they would be like that. We'd seen it live on TV, and we would be like, Ain't none of our business." Uh, how do you feel? How do you feel
Um,
about that? Do you feel that wasn't a situation for us to kind of
I think it
counter?
was definitely our business. Like, I think it was sort of, I mean, I felt watching that, I was just sort of um, like awestruck, I guess is the word. I wasn't surprised
Okay,
that this group of mostly white people advocating for total destruction of our government were able to waltz in single file in through the velvet ropes to the chambers of Congress to attempt to assassinate all of our elected officials. I wasn't really surprised that
mhm,
a group of white people were able to do that. It
okay,
was definitely I I could not look away from the television.
okay. Yeah, I was just
It
like this.
was fascinating. It was I was scared, definitely. I think I was really scared watching that, and that's why I say it was my business because I was like, "Holy shit. If
Right.
this actually happens, like, we're fucked." Like,
I
I was
guess.
truly scared. I was really happy I was a gun owner on that day.
I mean, I guess as far as, of course, it's our business. Obviously, we're American citizens, but as far as this trying to intervene or trying to counter protest that, do you think we maybe we should have done more? Should it or any organization that was just like, this is crazy. You don't need to be trying to take over the Capitol. Do you think citizens should have intervened and did a counter protest on that situation?
I think that we tend to like look at these issues like when things are already on fire. There was a lot of work that I think organizations should have been doing, or I mean, probably I know we're doing that everyday people need to be aware of. I mean, maybe you don't have time to like go to every city council meeting, um, you know, listen to every debate for every, state senator, congressperson. But these things start on the local level and build up to that grand scale. And I know there are lots of community organizations that are advocating across the country for people to, know what's going on in their backyards because those backyards are what grow the people that grow up to be, the Mitch McConnells, the Donald Trumps of the world.
Yeah.
And it's really I truly think that it's really like on us, like everyday people, to know what's going on and engage to stop this stuff from happening, because that stuff happens when it's allowed to fester and grow unchecked.
Okay, okay, I definitely hear you on that for sure. So as far as the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, what was it specifically you did in becoming, uh, as far as them like noticing you, like, hold on, she could be an issue.
How did I find that out?
Well, I guess how did you become on their radar to be
Oh,
something for them?
publishing a 15-part series about deputy gangs. That's one thing
Yeah,
to do
that's
to kick the
true.
hornet's nest.
Well, where can they speaking of that, where can the audience and mods, I need you guys to really pay attention to this. Where can they find that series at and look at that?
You can find the series at lasdgangs.com.
Repeat that one more time so the mods can put that. Mods, make sure
Yeah,
you guys are paying
L
attention.
A. This is not sign language. This is like hood sign language.
She throwing up gang signs over here. I don't know.
That's a deputy gang sign. This is the Linwood Viking sign.
So yeah, so they do use gang
Yeah,
signs.
they have their own gang signs. Yeah.
What are they? A few
I
of them.
know of two. This is for Linwood Viking, and this is for the Wayside Whiteys, which is a prison gang.
Okay, and that is for the in the correction facility, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they can. Okay, we're part of the correctional facility. The Vikings are more street, uh, out in
Yeah.
the street. Okay. Who are the most notorious gang out of all the gangs? Would you say
Notorious in what way?
notoriety? The most destruction, the most maybe the biggest. You know,
Um,
like for instance, Hell's Angels is obviously one of the largest biker gangs in the world. So I guess in that particular sense, what are
okay. Well, I think a lot of the gang, or we think that a lot of the gangs are only up to 100 members,
okay?
and then it restarts. So that's sort of like background on like size. The deadliest gang by my, according to my reporting, and like I didn't look at every record because I only know what I know, right? So these numbers could be incredibly skewed. But
Sure.
just based on what I know,
Yeah,
the
that's from
deadliest gang is the Spartans.
the Spartans. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you go into to a little bit about um the mayor who was targeted? I think I want to say a year, maybe 2 years ago. Black young lady. I forgot what was her name.
Asia Brown.
Asia Brown. What's the update with that? How did that kind of like happen? Of what information that you were able to get from that situation?
Yeah. So Asia Brown was part of government leadership in the city of Compton,
Hmm.
which contracts with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department for law enforcement services. And she was part of a group that issued a lawsuit, um, basically calling attention to really fraud that the sheriff's department was doing, on the basis of that contract, where they were saying that they were going out and doing these patrols, and in reality, the patrol cars were parked, never doing patrols. And as a result of that, she faced harassment from sheriff's department officials, deputies, and she chose not to run for reelection, which She hasn't really spoken publicly about if that's related, but I think the timing is interesting to note.
So, do you think when she was first initially targeted, was it something that triggered them to target her? I mean, she's the mayor of Compton, so
Yeah, I think the
it's something
sheriff's
that she
the
did or like that
I
they didn't like.
any time that you speak out against the sheriff's department, they will have a response against you. It's not official policy, but it's something that we've seen play out time and time again.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of find that was just that story was just kind of odd. I never, and maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just under a rock sometimes, but I just never uh, that story definitely was intriguing that they targeted the mayor of
Hmm.
Compton. So, um, wow. And who's the current mayor of Compton currently now?
That's a great question. Um, Newly elected mayor is Emma Sharif.
Okay, MS Street. Okay. Um, all right. What is okay? So this the sheriff, and I think I've heard you mention that the sheriff had mentioned you on a couple of news stations and podcasts. Actually listed your name specifically, um,
Yes.
in a threatening way. What do you mean by that? Like what was actually said? Because I don't want to assume anything. Um,
Yeah. The sheriff has done a number of things to threaten me, from calling me a liar, saying that I made all this up for financial gain, to having his campaign officer or campaign manager threaten to post my address online. And that's again like very much in line with what he does to other people that he deems his
okay.
so-called political enemies. It's very much it's very like Nixon-esque, but whereas President Nixon did this stuff behind the curtain, Sheriff Villanueva is very much out in the open about it.
Hmm. Okay. And I guess he's up for re-election here.
He
Uh,
is. We are in the midst of a very, probably the most important sheriff's race in LA County history. The primary is coming up in June. Leading up, and we have 9 people running for the sheriff's, for sheriff of LA County.
okay.
Excuse me. And at least half of them have some association with deputy gangs, which tells you a lot about the size and scope of this issue. Um, One of the candidates who has received a lot of attention is a man by the name of Cecil Rambo.
Okay.
Mr. Rambo did an interview with me where he admitted that he knew about the white supremacist Viking gangs from the time he was about a year into the department until his final day. He was best friends with a man by the name of Paul Tanaka, who is a tattooed, self admitted tattooed Viking, again, a white supremacist gang.
Okay.
Paul Tanaka went on to become the under sheriff, which is the second in command of the sheriff's department in Los Angeles County, and Cecil Rambo was promoted right along behind him. Rambo donated to all of Mr. Tanaka's political campaigns from the time he started running in the early 2000s all the way through 2012. And after each of those contributions, you will see that he rose up a level in the sheriff's department. He is now running for sheriff of Los Angeles County. Rambo also was involved in 2 shootings. One of those involved a child. Um, and he's not the only candidate like that. I and the team at Knock LA, which published the series about the sheriff's department, we are hosting a series of candidate forums leading up to the primary in June. I encourage everyone watching this broadcast to register for the forum at bit.ly/knock forum. The first forum is on April 5th at 8 o'clock Mountain Time, 7 o'clock Pacific. Um, Everyone should be tuning in. We are going to be asking questions about deputy gangs, about these issues on the record. It's also important to note these are the only nonpartisan forums that are being held in the election for the official that is going to be running the largest sheriff's department in the world. Everyone should be watching this because this is going to affect you no matter where you are.
So Judd, if you can put that in, I believe you're a mod. If you could put that in the, well, no. Okay, now you're a mod. Go ahead and put that in. Judd, I'm sorry. I thought I made you a mod a long time ago. Go ahead and put that in the in the comment section, please. Can you repeat that one more time, just so that we can get that in there, Miss Cerise?
Say it one more time.
Yeah, say it one more time.
bit.ly/knock, like knock knock, forum, FORUM.
Awesome. So, do you have a name on all of these? Because I think these are they also have some Hispanic gangs too, right?
Yes, there are a couple of gangs that are mostly Latino. I'm thinking of the Banditos based out of the East Los Angeles station. And the Executioners actually are said to be mostly Latino.
Those are mainly Hispanic.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you have to? Yeah, Polyglocks also said the Banditos. So what we have the Bandinos, we have the Vikings, we have the Executioners, we have, well, I believe the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Who else do we have? Exactly.
The 3,000 boys, the 2,000 boys, the Banditos, the Executioners, the Cavemen, the Grim Reapers, the Jump Out Boys, the Little Devils, the Regulators, the Spartans, the Vikings, the Wayside Whiteys, Posse, Tasmanian Devils, Buffalo Soldiers, Rattlesnakes, Cowboys. That's all I can remember off the top of my head.
So
I do have to get going though. I hope that I answered all of everyone's questions about this stuff, and I do encourage everyone to go to lasdgangs.com where you can read the 15-part series that is talking about all of this stuff very in depth. I have like photos of the deputy gang tattoos. There is news articles dating back to the 1980s about this stuff that I reference. You can look at the lawsuits, which detail these murders that have been committed. There is a deputy gang database where you can look up, who these people are, where they are working, what have they been involved with.
okay.
And of course, again, I have to say, please tune in to our forum. First one is coming up on April 5th. That is
I'm definitely
Tuesday.
tuning in.
Yes. Like I said, this affects you no matter where you are. And it's really on us, as I've said, to hold these officials accountable and make sure that, we are putting people into power that are going to get us where we want to be.
Right. And yeah. And I got two more questions for you before you leave.
Yeah.
And well, first of all, how can I mean this is the 1A community. What is your feelings on the 1A community as far as the First Amendment auditing and cop watchers? And the second question is, how can we? Well, I guess how can we better support you?
Yeah, I think cop watchers for what they do. I mean, it's really like cop watchers that have like empowered people like me to do the work that I do. So like, yeah, I can't thank people like y'all enough. East Los Audits is in here. He's doing great work, specifically around the Banditos gang. I encourage everyone to check out his YouTube channel. He has great information for me all the time.
Do you
And
have a YouTube channel by any chance?
I don't. I should probably make one. I probably will make. I have a podcast coming out. I'll also
You should
forget to
absolutely have a
mention
YouTube
that,
channel.
but I do have a podcast coming out on the deputy gang, so I will probably start a YouTube channel that is posting some of that, like, videos and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question.
Mhm.
I know you're a busy woman. You have to go. What are you doing as far as because you are a target? So what are you doing about protection? Do you have security? Do you have any organizations that are protecting you? What does that look like?
Yeah, I do have a great security plan. I can't really, like, talk too much about it,
No
to
problem.
keep it secure.
No, I understand.
But,
I just want to make sure that you're protected because
yes.
I don't want you out here just I, I'm a man at the end of the day, and I'm an older brother, so I'm very protective. I love women. I'm protective, so that's just who I am. So I just want to make sure you out in these streets protected.
Definitely.
So okay, so I'm glad that you are thank you for doing this interview uh with me, and you are more than welcome. I left my number in the private section. You can use that anytime. Um, you're more than welcome to come on the show with any updates or anything that you need the public to see on my behalf. Anywhere, anything that you need me to do, I will do. So you have support, and we appreciate you very, 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 very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great joining you all. Thank you to everyone tuning in. And yeah, I hope to talk to you soon.
All right, all right. That is Cerise Castle, the crime fighting journalist, and it was awesome that she was here. So we got an hour with her, Road Dog. I know you had to step away for a little bit, but guys, please go support her. Please, we will leave more information in the description where you can find her, and we will keep you guys updated when she has a YouTube channel. Road Dog, Road Dog, you there, right? I don't know if you're
Yeah, I
still there.
am.
Can you post her information real quick so people can write that down? Thank you, Judd. I appreciate it. That's where you. That's her. That is her Twitter and her Instagram following. Go support her, guys, please. This woman needs protection as much as possible. She is putting in the great and hard work. And what do you think, Road Dog? How do you think it?
I think she's awesome.
I think, yeah.
I was looking forward to this, and then I had to step away, and I'm like bummed out I had to step away, but I at least got to listen to it. I was on the road listening to it.
Okay. Okay. That's coming from the producer, guys.
Yeah, it really sucks because I mean I was really looking forward to like I said, I have a lot more information that I'd love to pass on to her that from when I grew up there that that possibly it may help her in her journey.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's amazing the information that she's uncovered.
Well, we'll try to stay in contact with her.
Oh, definitely.
And check on her and check on her well-being and everything, and also check with her on her updates as well. Also check out the 15-part series that she has as well. I mean, well, you heard what she said, that when she put that out, she became a huge target on their radar as far as this lady needs to. We need to watch out for this lady. I had some more questions for her, but I know she's a very, 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 very busy woman, so we have to let her go. We'll probably maybe a part 2 with her.
That's what I was thinking. Is maybe we can get her to come back out, maybe at least another hour somewhere down the road or something.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know you had some more questions for her. So 605 said link. Did you want to come up 605? Does she have a YouTube? No, she does. No, she does not have a YouTube. I believe this is her Twitter and her Instagram. You guys can follow her on there.
Yeah, she had said something about she's talking about doing a YouTube.
Right.
Which would be awesome. Because I honestly, she sent me pictures of some of the stuff that she's done, which are the ones I used on the trailer. And I mean, there is like hundreds of pictures. And there is some, awesome photography on there.
Right. And guys, if you support what we do here, man, please support what we do. You know, we got some more interesting interviews coming up. This is me and Road Dog. We're working for you. We promise. We're gonna bring you some great stuff. And by the way, this is the K Dot Experience show. And we have other things that we're going to be talking about. So Road Dog is working on a trailer for something. We're not going to speak on it right now, but just know that we got some stuff in the works.
We actually got a interview to do next Sunday.
We do, and it's going to be pretty explosive. Definitely don't want to miss that. And I just, guys, I'm just happy that she does have some type of protection as far as the security team, because I think that's important. She needs to be protected, and even more protected because she is a Black woman out here trying to expose white supremacy gangs within the LA Sheriff's Department. So I think I learned a lot from speaking with her and got more information. I don't know. Road Dog knows these guys like the back of their hand, so I don't know if was there anything new that you found out during this interview that
there was a couple things that she brought up, but I didn't realize there was that many gangs involved. I mean, growing up, we knew of like 4 or 5. We didn't realize that it's that big. I mean, that's just like, it blew me away when she said 19 confirmed
and possibly 24.
Yeah, confirmed 19. I mean, you stop and think about it. Okay, my question is, if you're part of, let's say, the Vikings, and you're part of the Executioners, is there rival stuff going on within the ranks of the police department in that aspect? That was one of the questions I wanted to ask her, is if she had seen anything like that.
Yeah, that is a great question, because is there gangs in the what is it? Is it gangs in the LA or LAPD? And are they feuding with? Do they have feuds or whatever? And I'm sure that I'm sure they don't I'm sure they don't like whistleblowers, for sure. So
right. Yeah, so it's kind of got my curiosity up. Is there rivalry between them, or is it like one station is one station is another, that kind of thing? My understanding when I was growing up, they were actually all intertwined.
Okay. I think that'll be another great question to ask her. But
yeah, Dave Miller, there's cop gangs everywhere. I mean, you can bet if they're in Los Angeles, they're elsewhere.
Okay. Well, this is why we do the show, guys. Like I said, we are me and Road Dogg, we are not anti-cop. We are pro accountability, and I think that's important to note, and I think that's important to realize because we want to highlight whistleblowers. We want to highlight cops who actually are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I mean that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna hold you accountable if you fuck up. Simple as that. So um, I don't know. I had a good time, man. I had a really good time interviewing her, and I know Road Dogg was excited to be on the show and do the same and get at least get a couple of questions out for her. So
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this show for a while.
yeah, we have been.
That's why I was like, damn it, I gotta.
Right. Like, damn it.
But I had to listen to it. It was like everybody shut up because I'm listening to this and just don't talk to me.
Right. But yeah, so guys, if you support what we do, please go to Cash App, $ Cash App at dollar sign at DJ123. That's again $ DJK.123. If you believe in what we do and you want more content and more interviews like this. But me and Road Dogg are working on some stuff, and we're going to be bringing you a lot more stuff. We got the K Dot Experience show. We have the relationship, the conversation, relations and relationships. We have Big Smoke. We got the Big Smoke show. Anybody want to smoke with K Dot, you know what I'm saying? You don't like how I audit or how I do things on this channel, I will provide you the platform to air your grievances. But make sure you bring facts about me. Make sure you don't bring any feelings because you will lose. I'm just letting you know. And it's gloves off. It's gloves off on that show. If you enjoy the relationship show, we want to see. Our goal is to see more families together, and I want to see a lot more people married. That's the reason why I do the show, and that's from a male's perspective and educating women on how men want to be treated. So you can get a better insight on getting the man that you want. Or marrying the man that you want. What are you willing to do that? So, but yeah, we got some more interviews coming up. So I will be putting out more news clips as possible. I've been getting a whole lot of news clips in my email. I need to, so I definitely got to get to that. Also, Road Dogg, we need to also get on that special as far as serial killer cops.
Right.
I haven't forgot about that. So that definitely needs to be highlighted for sure. Serial killer cops. And actually, one of them was out of California. I think it was in
Probably the Bay Area, most likely.
I think it was the Bay Area. You're right. The Golden Bridge Killer, right?
Yeah, that would be the Bay Area.
Yeah, yep. And it's so
And Jane Miller, the show's only like an hour. We're right now at about an hour and 15 minutes, so you can always go back and rewatch it.
Absolutely. You can definitely go back and rewatch it. Go ahead and plug this in.
I'm actually going to go back and rewatch it too.
And I think we sounded pretty clear. No popping like we were yesterday.
Nope. Hopefully you're fixed now.
Yeah, I think I just edited the mic, and so apologize for yesterday's show. But go ahead and plug your show in real quick.
Well, come over and see us at the Road and Toe Show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We generally start about 8:30. Sometimes it's 9:00, depending on if we have technical difficulties or whatever. But Toe for Life and I put on a show at the Road and Toe Show. And that is, like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, about 8:30 p.m. Central Time.
There we go. And no need to say anything else. I mean, that's the Road and Toe Show. Make sure y'all check them out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I think sometimes y'all do Saturdays, but that's
yeah, it's just whenever. It's kind of like we've been toying with the idea
right.
with the Saturdays, and we haven't really had a chance to do one. I think we've only done one or two on Saturday so far. But we have a lot of good stuff coming up. And then also, I'm going to be starting another show with Wolf Den's News. And over there, we're going to be talking about Constitution, survival, because he's all about teaching you how to survive if something happens. How can you survive?
Right.
So this is something that he's going to bring everybody out. So we'll be announcing that show. I don't know exactly when. We haven't really got all the details worked out, but that is coming up.
Okay. I think that, and that's going to be really, really interesting. So we got Road Dog working hard over here, but he does it because he has a passion for it and he loves transparency and he wants to get y'all to education as soon as possible.
And just so you know, if you guys want the little fluffy bunny type stuff, go check out Little Ridge Farm. That's a new upcoming channel. He's going to be teaching you how to build cages and I think incubators. I'm not sure exactly what all he's going to be building, but there's a bunch of stuff he's going to be building. But he'll be raising quails and rabbits. Him and his daughter. And his daughter makes these shakes that are amazing, by the way.
There we go. There we go. And so look out for those particular shows. Also, I'm working on another installment of more content. This is going to be called the comedy excuse me, the comedy roundtable, where we have a bunch of comedians just being silly, but also giving us the inside scoop of what they go through, as far as the business wise. And I'm sure they have stories upon stories on being on the road. And I know a lot of people have been asking about Old School, and if he has any a YouTube page. So me and Road Dogg, we're gonna help him set that up. But he will be the host on that show, the Comedy Roundtable. So you'll see a lot more of him with his silly behind. So,
I like him.
I love I love him, man. I'm telling you, Old School, that's my guy, man. And any way to help him get a bigger platform on our expense, I'm down and willing. Also, if you guys if you guys own local businesses or any type of stuff like that, and you want us to advertise that, email me. Just let us know. We'll probably we'll highlight that, and we'll go over pricing and all that type of stuff if that's what you want to do. Also, Road Dogg, do you want to tell them the membership thing? I think or are you ready to, or should we wait a little bit for that?
We can. We're talking about opening up membership to DJ Kate Out the Party. If anybody's interested in doing it, we are in the process. We're kind of like tossing the idea kind of thing. So if it's something you'd be interested in, kind of keep your eye open for that.
Yep. And you'll have extra perks. You'll get to see content before other people, as far as that. Or if we do broadcast it, it'll be after the broadcast is done, it'll be most likely taken off, and then we'll put it specifically for members only. If you are interested in being a member of DJ K-Dot, we're trying to build. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers, y'all. We're almost there. YouTube's been hating. on me. And not only that, but I've heard other major content creators on YouTube have been really complaining about them taking away their subscribers for some reason. I don't know what the hell is going on. I should have been at 5,000 subscribers at least a few months ago. So do I have an IG? Yes, I do have an IG. It's at DJK.theparty. That is my IG. I do not have a Twitter though. I don't do the Twitter thing. I don't know. Maybe I should get one. I'm kind of debating that. I definitely don't have a TikTok.
No, you need a Twitter so you can follow Aurora. I got you down that rabbit hole the other day. Now you see why I've got one.
No, that you're right about that, Road Dog. You are spot on. So, but yeah, I think it was a good interview, and like I said, I left her my number, and I'll also leave her my number on her Instagram as well, so she know that she has support out here in Colorado and Arkansas. So
that's right.
and former LA representative. And so yeah, so that is my IG at DJK the party, all in one word. I believe it's all lowercase, nothing else special, no underscore or anything like that. Just DJK the party. Yes, thank you, Judge, for putting that in there. If you want to get a hold of me as far as email, if you want to be a guest on the relationship show or just a guest on the K-Dot Experience show, email me at k.copwatch@gmail.com. Especially if you personally been through any type of police misconduct or any type of situation that you need your story highlighted, please do not hesitate to email me. k.copwatch@gmail.com. So or you can get if you can't get a hold of me, you can also get a hold of Road Dog. Go ahead and state your email, Road Dog.
RoadDogMedia@gmail.com.
There we go. And you can get a hold of either one of us. So on that note, your final thought on the show, Road Dog Media.
All I gotta say is she's a superhero. I mean, I watched her interview on that Breakfast Club, and I was just blown away. For her to go out and do what she does the way she does it and puts a target on herself living in Los Angeles is unbelievable. Because you know how the politics works out there. Your gang, yeah, you're gonna have other gangs backup.
Yeah.
And running around the streets out there, you got the Bloods, the Crips, Body of Norwalk, Termites, Dog Patch. I mean, there's a ton of gangs out there that would rather kill you than talk to you.
Wow.
So for her to do what she's doing, I mean, she has my utmost respect.
Absolutely.
And I would do anything I can to help her out wherever I can.
Yep. And same here. I feel my final thought is I think she is a warrior, a courageous hero, and she has nothing, and I mean nothing but my support. And I hope, I pray that she stays well protected, and I pray that she gets everything and that she needs to get done to expose these tyrant sons of bitches. Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, and I'm also praying for everybody that lives in LA. That y'all have to deal with this crap, and so I pray for y'all safety as well. Also praying for the all the cop watchers that are out in anywhere in California. Man, you guys are y'all part of the 1A family, and from Colorado to California, you definitely got our support. So that is my final thought. And Always love each other. You know what I'm saying? Always pray for each other. Always be there for each other, and be kind to one another. Um, except for on Big Smoke. So
Got to throw that in there.
I just had to throw that in. You know, I had to throw that in there real quick. All right, guys. That is the end of the show. Appreciate you guys for being here again. If you want to support the show, please go to the Cash App, or you can also put a sticker or whatever, the super chat or whatever, however you want to do it to support the show, so we can bring you guys more and more content. And I'm also working on another show called Man Cave Chronicles, where it's just it's a show for men, and we showcase men problems and what we do to get through those things, and how do we navigate, how do we become better men, and how do we become better accountable, how do we become better husbands, how do we become better fathers, all those. So I think I'm in the works on that show as well. So look forward to that show as well. So Road Dog, do you have anything?
Nope, I'm good to go.
Okay. Well, it's your boy DJ K Dot and my partner, my brother from another, Road Dogs Media, and we out.
Later.